Some updates on the door and some other stuff here at A&M Moto Toys in Monument, Colorado. So here's the door that I had two videos complaining about. So they came out yesterday. The contractor is super nice, awesome. They don't know anything about Griffith's Blessing, so mistakes happen, parts break. So what happened was, it took him 5 minutes. All he did, because I don't know the key words for door handles and locks and stuff, but he took this off and just replaced the cylinder, and I guess the mechanism was broken there, how it works, and now it works. Or if you put the button in, and that doesn't work. So that's how a commercial door works. And it shuts nice. I think the weather seal's fine. You can still see some white there. It is what it is, but otherwise, at least we have all new weather seal going around on the bottom, and yeah, it works. So I still have to use two hands to pull that in slightly, just slightly though. But yeah, like I said, it works. So we're very happy he came back out. I don't know why property management acted like I was an idiot not knowing how to use a door. This is how the other door works also. So it's not like we haven't been using that system now since we moved in, so almost a year. I don't know. I think that's just, they don't think about things. Maybe they're used to dealing with more residential, because I know Griffith's Blessing handles residential, and I get it. There's stupid people out there. But we've been dealing with this door now for how long? Don't insult people and act like they don't know what the button does. Anyways, so on to the next thing. So in here, kind of like our break room, we have our furnace area. So a guy shows up, unannounced, unexpected, of course, because Griffith's Blessing doesn't tell us anything. So he was the maintenance guy for, I guess, the furnaces. I guess that's a new thing they're doing. I told him I had changed the filter out recently again because they had the wrong one in there. I explained that. I explained that this thing vibrates bad it was the same guy that came out when they had to replace the igniter when we moved in. And he goes, yeah, I remember it vibrating then. And I said, it's gotten worse. So his job is to write up how much it will be to replace the blower, squirrel cage, and motor. And he claims the motor needs to be replaced, of course. He's a nice guy, but I think that's kind of upselling it, because I've already taken it all apart. I cleaned the squirrel cage because that was dirty, and I learned later that the squirrel cage, which I didn't know to look for, the two halves, it can become loose and come undone. And I think that's all it is, and it's out of balance, right, because it's loose. The motor shaft seemed fine. The bearings in it seem fine. There was no play in the shaft of the motor. I think the motor's fine, but of course they're going to write up something that's going to be crazy. I already know for like $160 I can order the squirrel cage. 30 minutes of my time and I can have that replaced in and out. So we'll see what they give the property management company. If the property management company, which they should, replace it, because it was an issue from day one, right? The owners never came into these spaces and were like, well, it's 2004. We should do some basic stuff to make sure this works for our tenants. Of course, we have a triple net, so technically they could go tell us pound sand, and nothing we can do about that. That's just the life of commercial spaces. So, let's say the guy writes up a quote and he says it's $1,200. Even if we split that, that's still $600, and I'm sure that's what they would say. Well, how about we split that amount? Because I know from past experiences from other tenants, but at $600, I can replace it for $160. So I'll probably just do that myself, but we'll wait for the quote and see what they say. Let me turn it on, and I can show you how it's vibrating. Okay, now the gas is lit. I don't know much about furnaces, but there's not too much to them as far as replacing stuff. I mean, if you have a computer program, a board, or if you have a board problem, you replace the board. You know, there's not much you replace on a furnace. They're really pretty basic and should last pretty much forever as long as you can get the parts. People get talked into whole new furnaces. It's just crazy because there's really not much to them, and there's no reason to buy new ones. But you know, companies will talk you into it. I mean, the main component here is the blower. You need air to blow, right? Okay. And this is better than it was. After I cleaned it, it got a little bit better. See that? And I have a zip tie here so this doesn't rattle against that coming out the gas line. So, yeah, we do need to get that fixed, but we also need heat. So, luckily, it is a little better than it was. Hard to believe. I shut the doors, turn off the light, and shut this door, and it's not that bad. It's livable. Before it was horrendous. So I'll turn that back down. Thought I was going to render a video, you know, talking about the furnace and what have you, and just random stuff. And then I see they emailed the invoice for replacing the stuff on the furnace. I was thinking like their crazy quote would be like $1,200, right? Replacing a blower motor and the squirrel cage, all that, and slapping it in. It literally takes 30 minutes. Look at that. $2,275.44. I always love when companies have these cents. Like, can we just round the number? Round it down, round it up? Are you worried about 44 cents? I don't know. I personally use round numbers typically for stuff because it's just better, easier for everyone involved. Here we go. This is it. These are recommended repairs found during our 4th yearly preventive maintenance service. These repairs need attention to prevent further damage to other mechanical components and downtime to your customers. That's our Suite 210. Shaft is slightly bent and twisted. Blower motor is very loud. The shaft wasn't bent or twisted because I had that out. I took it apart. He didn't take it apart, so I know that's not true. Blower motor is very loud and wearing out and needs to be replaced. See video sent in separate email. Blower wheel, motor, bracket, mount, and grommet. Now, I don't know how much the motor costs because I haven't looked it up yet, but the wheel is like I think $160. And I had it all apart, so I know it's just the squirrel cage, the blower wheel. That's all it is. Well, I thought they'd come back with. We know the owners are not going to pick that up. I'm not going to pay that. This was given to us already. Shit, I mean, fuck, I'd use a damn just heater. Yep. I'm a pretty crafty person. We'd find a way to get heat. Let's just say that. Yeah, I'm not fixing up their space for that amount. That seems like a we're screwing it to you price. $2,275. Nope, I'm gonna just order the squirrel cage and we'll get that done, and then it won't be that loud and it won't damage anything else. Let's say I put that on. I put the blower wheels, they're calling it, on. And that doesn't fit. Then I'll buy the motor, put that on, and there we go. Blower motor is probably like $300. So say like $500. I can fix this. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Not spending $2,275 because it's done it since day one of moving in. I just didn't know enough about the furnace or anything. Has it always done that? And this guy has told me he had heard it before, what have you. That's kind of the space. Just problems you have when you have rent commercial real estate, or even if you own commercial real estate, what tenants might encounter. Fortunately, there's a lot of bad landlords that just don't go through their properties. Aaron and I have never rented real estate before, so we didn't know that like we probably should turn that on and get it going, or maybe even hire a guy for a couple $100 to come out and just go through all that, or a general contractor even, or somebody, to give an opinion like, hey, that space has this issue, this, that issue. And we probably should have done that, to be honest, and I probably would have done that. I didn't think about it. So things you live and learn, right? It's a venture for sure, and that's why I make these videos, to help people out. What it might seem like I'm ragging on the Quiet Cat customer, what have you, because he brought back a broken bike. In the end, it was all taken care of. The thing is to showcase to people out there that if you're getting into dealing with the general public, you're going to have issues from time to time. It's going to happen. That's the idea behind these videos. Show you what occurs with commercial property, show you what occurs us being leasees, the landlord, property management, all that. Being transparent as I can be in showing you. Because if I show you, you have an idea what to expect when you start your own business. So doing this from day one of starting, we'll have a timeline of this happened, but that happened, and these good things happened, and all that good stuff. And it's been an adventure. Like, what point of sale system do you get nowadays? Because there's so many. If that point of sale system goes down due to power, businesses don't have a way to take cards or anything, and if it's tied to everything, you don't have a way to open the drawer either. So that's the things you got to think about. My mother was telling me of a case in Tennessee where they live, where the owner of the restaurant, it was redone near them, and the owner was talking to this fancy point of sale system. So when the waitress takes your order on the pad, it goes digitally to the kitchen. Well, the internet's down, all that's not working right, and they couldn't even check out. They couldn't even pay. They just were like, "Here, we have $20 in our wallet," and they were like, "Okay, well, I mean, what do you do as a business, right?" It doesn't work. So you basically, something like that, the person's already ate, thinking they could pay with card because they're not telling people it's down. You give them what you have and call it a day. In that case, it's on the business. Actually, I had that just happen to me this morning at 7-Eleven for my horchata. It seemed like the system was taking my card, but didn't. I have zero cash right now in my wallet. Just I don't go to the bank that often. And he goes, well, all we can do is cash. I opened up the wallet, showed him. He goes, it's on the house today. I'm like, are you sure? I could probably scrounge something up from the car, right? I probably have enough change. He's like, no, honestly, don't worry about it. Unless as a business you put out a sign that says, or when people are coming in, you say, hey, if you're going to use cards, our card reader's down, cash only today. That way people know, right? Makes me wonder, with them being a gas station, if that was working. Yeah, that would be painful. So if their whole system's down, oh no. But that's just things as a business, you have to deal with and handle and what have you. So that's why I like bringing you these videos. It just brings you along on the journey. So when you're looking to open up whatever retail space you want to open up, maybe you even want to just be an investor and buy a shopping center or something. It's your first shopping center. What do you expect from the tenants? And I try to give back, like redoing this space. I had no problem doing that. I said it before, if I would have been the landlord, the owner of this strip center, I would have had all the empty spaces. I would have, instead of waiting for somebody to look and then haggle on, well, do we fix it up? Do you fix it up? Who fixes it up? Who's painting it? I would have just came in and painted it. Yeah, paint's a little expensive nowadays, but you can still go get paint, go Home Depot, get the dang paint. Don't have to buy the best paint. It's a retail space. And just add some colors, make it nice. Take out walls that aren't going to be needed for anyone else. And that way, when you show the space and you say your first price is, say, $4,000 a month, those people looking can say, you know what? I think that's probably justifiable. $4,000 a month. It's all painted. It's nice. It's fresh. Everything works. They would have had this rented out months and months, 6 months ago, a year ago, because this space sat empty for a long time. That's the problem with owners. They'd rather sit on the space than generate revenue by them spending, maybe, let's say they spend $1,000 fixing up the place like I did. Maybe that's $1,000 job. They wouldn't have to hang slat wall because they wouldn't know what type of retail space would go in here. But they could have just fixed it up like I did, put new carpet down and paint everything and call it good, make sure outlets work and just things like that, make sure the furnace works. Let's say they put $1,000, $2,000 down fixing it up. They would have rented this space a year ago because somebody would have walked in and been like, wow, that's awesome. It's ready to go. It's a turnkey operation. Maybe they would have had to do something a little different colors, but at least it was presented in a way where you could move in ready. It's move in ready. You could move right in and start working as whatever the business name is. But, too many owners rather just sit on an empty space all those months instead of generating money, income, than spend the money to fix it up so they can rent it out easily. That I don't understand. And that happens in Colorado, happens in New York, it happens in Arizona, happens in California, happens everywhere. That's how owners are of retail spaces. They just don't seem to care. They want to be so cheap that they don't want to fix something up, and they want the new person to come in and fix up their space for them. And they're willing to wait years for somebody to come in to do that versus fixing it up, getting somebody in here quickly, and making all that rent for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, whatever the case might be. So think about that is, if you're investing in commercial real estate, you might have to put out a little bit of money, maybe a little bit of your own sweat, because your time is, a lot cheaper than hiring somebody. You fix it up, even if it's tossing on some paint, fixing little issues, and I guarantee you will have somebody in that space a lot quicker than if you're just going to sit on it for years waiting for somebody to come in to remodel that space because you're too cheap. You'd rather forego $48,000, $50,000 a year than spend $3,000, even $5,000. Even if you spent $5,000, you would have recouped that a lot sooner than having the space empty. Yeah, doesn't make sense. Let me know in the comments what you think. Anyways, you all take care, stay well, stay safe, and get out there and invest or open up a retail location, because small business is where it's at. Being your own boss is where it's at. You don't want to work for people. You don't. And the long-term goal of people should be becoming their own boss.